Welcome back to your channel. My name is Brad and SuperCoach Pro. Today we are doing a round 2 AFL SuperCoach review. So this week we did all right. We scored 2005 without some big names like the likes of Butters and Sarong. So we're not doing too bad considering we don't have those big jets in there. Season rank now 25,000. So yeah, moved up almost 10,000 spots there. Pretty happy. This time last year, I was probably sitting around 80,000 roughly because I had a really poor starting side. Now this week, I think we're doing all right. Even my tipping's gone all right, 6 out of 8 this week. So pretty happy with everything in terms of team structure. Used a boost early. Didn't go through with some of my trades that I said on the preview because I did a little bit more homework on some players, and I thought, you know what, I don't think I'm going to get value out of certain players, and I think there's players that can go early on. So I discussed that in the team review. Now, I think it is the week to boost out of bad trades that you start off with. In terms of just primos failing, I think it's better to get off now. If you like someone, go watch some highlights on the AFL website. You can actually watch every disposal they actually grab if you type in that player's name. So starting the back line, reward for effort, starting this pick was Tommy Stewart, 134. Probably should have been like a 150, 160 game, but doesn't get points for breathing like Gorn does. So that's a really frustrating sort of the champion data don't have them. It doesn't have Stewart in his Supercoach team because, that 134 is so unders for what he does in that back line for Geelong. And it's surprising there's not like, a forward that plays a defensive role on Stewart considering how good he is to intercept. Dacos VC failed miserably. Now, I'm not going to get off the pick. You're going to burn 2 trades, to bring him back in because you know he's going to be top 6 at the end of the year. So we'll skip along the Dacos talk there. Don't want to see it in the comments. It's not worth it. She's a 113. Pretty happy starting pick. Don't know why a lot of people didn't, considering his first year average like 99. So for me, that was a no-brainer. Young, I think he sucked us all in. His last 5, 6 games of last year, we saw what we could do in the midfield. I think he's actually a fake primo. So for me, he's gone this week. I'll probably go into my trades probably Thursday because you guys know by now I do like a late change. I'm like the Chris Scott, but accidentally in terms of who I bring in and who I bring out. So I do apologise for the viewers that followed me over the years. Massimo is the guy I bought in. People going, nah, don't bring him in early. But I liked his preseason game as well, and I think he had like 31 touches in that. And Hawks like to play that chip mark sort of game style. They don't like to play any other way. They'll switch it across the 2 wings as well, or across half back. And I just feel like it's really relevant for his scoring down back. There was no one else I liked. I don't like Pink's scoring. Like he scored most of his points in that first quarter. So for me, I watched that game and I thought if Pink does go well, 80 plus, then I won't trade Gibkiss this week. I'll wait a week. But I feel like I'm just going to wait another week to assess the Caulfield options because there's nothing I like out there. So I went early on Massimo. And yeah, it paid off. He had a few clangers early, and his score wasn't looking great at the start. But my gut feel is where I went, and that's what I got to start doing this year. Is not worry about sometimes what reviews you hear about other players, and just go back, watch tape of the player, read how old he is, how many seasons he's played, what role, obviously, and just do your own homework. It's better than listen to other people, to be honest. And then Howe's 68 looks like a good rookie for us. Hall, it was sub, which is surprising. You don't normally have an intercept defender as your sub, so I thought that was weird. Normally you go like an extra mid or a small forward that can impact game. But yeah, with the news of Lever, Sawney, and then you got May with the rib issue, I think Hall will have good job security. And Caulfield dislocated his shoulder, so that came out really easily. And I just did mine in December, and it's not even fully fit now, to be honest with you guys. I'm only lifting like 80% of what I did previously. And I remember doing a shoulder in round 2, didn't come back to round 6 in footy. So I think here's one that you could jump off. I don't think there's really point in holding him. He'll have to go through the VFL, I think, as well to get some minutes through. And won't be doing any contract drills for at least a month. So for me, he's a trade-off. But there's just no one to trade him to. If you've already got Howes and Hall and Massimo, there's just no options. So he'll be just a dead rookie for now until I see something I like. Bont, such a reliable captain. copped, a few knocks. But that's the reason I paid up. I can sleep at night. Don't have to watch the Dogs games. I just know at the end of the day, when I look at Footy Fan, that he's scored a 120 plus, and yeah, it's such an easy pick. And then took Miller. Now I was going to go Rao and took, but I've already got Flanders and Miller, and my issue was Gold Coast had a hot start, and then I'm like, they played Richmond, which is fairly easy kill. We look like a bottom four side. Miller looked better value. He's done it before, 120s. And I thought Rao just had two spike games. So I sort of cooled my jets on that. I didn't want three Gold Coast players. Not like they're a top eight side, in my opinion, to go those three. So I sort of jumped off that train Saturday morning after doing the Thursday preview. And yeah, changed my mind and went Gibcus up to Massimo. I went Martin to Steele and gave Wines another look because Horn Francis was out. Perfect segue. I think Wines is just a dead pick too, to be honest. If you can't score that well against Richmond and your CBAs go up, well, I just think you're going to float at that 95 to 100 range, which I think I said before. And Steele for me just looks so good. I had to get rid of Martin. I don't care. Martin scored 93 and he'd bounce back. But I just don't feel like Martin's even going to be top six. You got Houston and the likes back down there. And even there's a few guys at 470k that I'll talk about in my preview that I'm thinking about getting in for Young. So Berry was subbed out. I'm listening to the Thursday and Friday night games at work in the earpiece, and every time Berry got the ball through the headphones, didn't sound great. And yeah, I think he's a trade out for me this week, to be honest. I know he's got a low break even, but I've got a plan. Going to use a boost. And I just want to get this team sorted before the buys. I don't want to sort of hold players and hold cash in. I've seen enough over the last two games to see what I can grab now instead of waiting too late and get behind the pack middle of the season. So rest of the side speaks for itself. Roberts, McKercher, 94, 95. I've always loved fielding Roberts. I've never had an inkling to bench him. McKercher, same thing. Sanders I got wrong because I thought he'd be sub again or potentially be subbed. So I just went with Sharp on the wing. I thought he'd play well against North. I lost 30 points there, but it is what it is, really. I just didn't want Sanders to get subbed out on a 60, but yeah, I didn't know what to do there, to be honest with you guys. I've been winning rookie roulette so far. And then, yeah, Marshall, thank goodness I had an E on him. Imagine if I was that nuffy on those pages on Facebook that didn't have an E on him. So, yeah, Pod Ruckman against Gawn, not doing so great, but Gawn's got a couple of buys coming up before Marshall even has his first. So, hopefully I make up for points that way. And then Jackson, great starting pick for me. He was also a no-brainer. I don't know why people didn't jump on when they heard he was solid ruck. I know it might only be a 6 to 8 week stint, but he's going to have so much points up that you're not going to be able to get those points back. Like he's averaging 145 in the first two. That's insane. So it makes up for me not having Sarong and Butters, to be honest. And then, the likes of Stewart also helps the bleeding and still went up the rankings without those two players that are going to be hurt factors. And then 128 for Heaney, started him as well. Flanders started as well. Didn't care about the buy. He hasn't gone up too much, but I just wanted to start a few value picks, and that's why I started Flanders, Miller, and players like that, and the Heaney as well. Looks to be a top 6 forward again this year. I say again, I think he's always been around the mark anyway. Billing 69, I think they burnt him a few times, I've heard. So that's whatever. I knew Fisher would probably do all right at Marvel, but for me, I need the cash to go up somewhere. So I know I lost points and you guys, well, you got rid of Fisher, but I needed somewhere to go to Massimo instead of fielding a pink in the back line. So, yeah, you win some, you lose some, but overall, if it helps your team, I think it's okay to cut. It could be Primo or even a Primo that's underperforming if it helps your overall structure. That is the main point to it. And then, yeah, Reed, disappointing with a 63, to be honest. All the 60s in my teams, but still managed 2,000 score. Sexton 47. I don't know if I want him at F6, considering Cadman's going well. Knows that it was an easy kill early on. And then Karma 65. I think I dodged a bullet, though, to trade in. Hogan scored a 66, which I was considering heavily. But then I thought, he's probably not going to be a top 6 forward, is he? And I just never loved the key forward roles. Like I've had Hawkins in the back end of the years and Jeremy Cameron's, and they can get you a 120 or they can give you a 60, and it's really annoying. It's too early to own a key forward, and I don't even like the Mackay pick this week. I know it's North Melbourne, but what's the point? It's not like he's 250k or something like that. And And then Karma 65 is my pod, F8. And then Sexton, you're probably going to chop him earlier than what you think. Actually, we thought he could be a keeper potentially. I never really felt that way. I felt like he's always going to be a 70 to 75 kind of guy and have spike games every now and then. So overall, happy with the rookies in my situation. Happy that I went early on a boost because I do have some plans. I won't go through them, or else you might not watch the preview. But that is the side going into next week as it stands. Will we make changes? Absolutely. We're going to use a boost. And probably who's on the chopping block? Young, Wines, and Berry. And you're probably thinking, why Wines? He's still averaging 97, but I have a lot better ideas to use to sort of non-primos into turning him to Jets and then downgrading Berry potentially and making some really good primos captain worthy. And I think that's a thing I got awkward in my side. I don't got a lot of captain worthy or VC players that I really rely on. Like Stewart's pretty hot and cold. We saw a VC from him at 105 last week. Miller's sort of going to float. I don't see any big scores coming from him just yet. I think he needs to build into it. Steele probably doesn't have the ceiling of most years, just got consistency. And then I'm relying on a VC like a Jackson or a Heaney who can go big any given week due to fixture. So I think looking at my side, I need to bring in a primo. I'm tossing up between Sarong and Butters, really, or potentially Luke Ryan, but I think his score peters out from here on out. I have owned Ryan in seasons before, and he will have an 80 game somewhere. So for me, that is the side going into it. I'm actually really happy with this side in terms of value and primos and rookies. So let me know what you guys scored in the comments. Let me know what you think of the side. If it looks good, if it looks bad, let me know either way. And I'll catch you in the next. See yous.